And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another weekly review with The Robot, brought to you by the Movie Pope. And here he is, bolts and nuts akimbo, The Robot.
On this channel, we've looked at films from different times and cultures, from the Soviet era to Bollywood. And, as it's February, there's an added task to find a foreign film that deals in the ways of love. And man, it was like a buffet where I couldn't choose wrong. However, as the past two reviews were very much Eurocentric in their aesthetic, I decided that maybe it was high time to check out something from a different part of the world. Not quite my cup of tea and yet still recognizable. Today, we're taking a look at Bajirao Mastani, and I'll pick out 5 things I really enjoyed about this movie. After all, who says good movies gotta come from America? We've reviewed a lot of Hollywood stinkers and, if I'm being honest here, they could really take a page out of the Bollywood playbook. So far, most of the romantic movies I've had the pleasure of reviewing were concocted by very imaginative people, in some cases, quite literally. This is quite a complicated situation where the women are both competing for the same guy, which sounds pretty kitschy, but it doesn't quite go down the way we would hope. It was both easy and difficult all at the same time to find elements that stood out for me to give them a shout out and, more importantly, trying to find the one detail that grinds my gears. It took me a while, but we finally got there in the end. Now, I hope you got your groove on, because we're going to dance our way into a truly epic love story. The movie revolves around our two lovers, the warrior and politician Bajirao and the princess Mastani. He comes to her father's aid and defeats enemy forces trying to capture their castle, and she falls for him. However, he's already married, but that doesn't dissuade her from pursuing him. While he's reluctant at first, he, too, gives in and falls for her. You're probably thinking, this is a Titanic type of romance, but it's actually based on to real people in 18th century India, during the time of the mules. Bajirao loves his wife Kashibai dearly, yet Mastani insists her love for him. What is a guy to do? Admittedly, resorting to polygamy isn't the best solution, and it leads to a tense standoff, but Bajirao learns to love his second wife, so much so that when he croaks he reunites with her in the afterlife. Was he truly meant to be with her? It reminds me of a song called It's Sad to Belong. It laments over someone meeting the right person, but they're unfortunately taken and they end up pining on what might have been. It's what we get here, and it makes you feel not just for our two lovers, but also the wife, who has to endure all this in the background. Pretty heavy. Whenever we watch a movie, we know who the good guys are and who are the villains. For the most part, we boo the villains because they're no bueno. Even in love stories, there is always that one individual who makes you want to turn your nose. Yep, that unpleasant, and they make it so easy. Here, there really isn't a true villain per se. Bajirao's mother does put up obstacles for Mastani and treats her like a pest. However, she is thinking of her son and daughter-in-law and just wants to keep the family unit together and come apart. Throughout the movie, she says and does things that make you want to snap, but at the same time, you can sort of understand where she's coming from. After all, Kashibai just seems too polite to want to rock the boat, so mom steps in and does what the daughter-in-law can't, or won't, do. Does she take things too far? Sure, but she isn't just being spiteful or cruel because it's the cool thing to do. I wonder if Bajirao had married Mastani first, maybe mom would have treated her a whole lot better. Guess we'll never know, but it is fun to speculate. The actress who plays Mastani does a phenomenal job. She's got to go through a range of emotions and expressions, from being utterly fearless to experiencing complete heartbreak. You really feel for her when falls for the guy. Even though he's happily married, she conveys just how much she loves the guy, and you really want the two to get together. There's this earnestness about her that comes right off the screen and slaps you silly. And while she is this brave warrior, she comes off as a bit naive, but she grows into her own as the movie progresses. She's love-struck, obedient, seductive, and determined all the way through, and it's amazing to see it unfold right before your very eyes. And even when Bajiro's first wife is pained by his torn affection, you gotta root for Mastani. She hangs in there even when everyone is telling her to give up and go home. Deepak the can act, and there's a reason why she's the queen of Bollywood. Also, props to Priyanka Chopra Jonas for her role as Kashibai, Bajiro's wife. She's acting her heart out and playing the scorned spouse. So, who to root for? My processors say Kashibai, but Mastani is making a good case too. Poor Bajirao is just placed in an impossible scenario. He starts off as the military commander who could win battles with one eye closed and one arm tied behind his back. Everywhere he goes he gets the adulations, and rightly so. I love how they take this historical figure and give him the 300 treatment, making him a larger-than-life hero. But what makes it interesting is that there's a curse that's put on him. See, Kashibai is confronted by a widow whose husband met a sticky end at Bajiro's hand. Therefore, Kashibai will end up suffering just as badly as the widow. It adds a whole new dimension to the love story. Was it truly mutual attraction? Was it willful determination? Or were the gods enacting justice for a widow who now sleeps in a cold, empty bed? 5151. Alright, there is no getting around it. In fact, I feel rather ashamed of avoiding it. But holy cow, are the visuals stunning, and that's not just limited to the buildings and sets but the costumes as well. We're treated to a picture of loveliness here. It's like every color imaginable finds a place in this movie, and it fits perfectly. The dancing and singing is mesmerizing and, if I may add, proves why Bollywood films have such a wide appeal both inside and outside the Indian community. I'm just gonna leave it there, because there is nothing else I can add. Wow, baby, just wow. I may be a bit pedantic here, but the special effects at the beginning of the movie come off as a bit cheesy. Props to them for committing to the bit, but maybe you could have invested more in to make it more fluid. Or maybe it was intentional, in which case, why, I ask you, why? And while the battle scenes were pretty nifty, you could tell they were shot against a green screen. So, again, it was the attitude of that will do. Bajirao Mastani is riveting, to say the least. It's a love story, Indian style, and it makes no apologies for it. It's based on a true love story and dialed up to 11. It's tragic because we feel for everyone in the story. Bajirao is a faithful spouse who discovers that maybe his heart doesn't truly belong to the woman he's married to. Kashibai wishes to respect her husband and maintain decorum, and yet, for all her wifely devotion, she is still a woman who feels scorned when Mastani enters the picture and begins taking up more and more of her husband's affections. And Mastani, as much as I want to call her a home wrecker, I can't help but feel for her as well. She has fallen for someone who matches her and invokes a deep passion that will make her walk to the ends of the earth just for fulfillment. Man, all that is just heavy, and when you throw it into the mix you get a perfect storm. Love is complicated above all else, and if you get ensnared in it, you better hold on for dear life. You may not always come out in one piece, but the journey is just as enthralling as the destination. Thanks for watching, and if you don't mind, please leave us a like, it helps a lot. And while you're at it, subscribe so you never miss an episode drop. This is the Robot signing off.